is the story of our changing planet and what we can do to help it thrive.
Was it under the earth, tied up in the night?
Our Planet is a new 8-part nature series from Netflix that showcases our natural world like you've never seen before. Over 600 crew members, over 50 countries, 3,500 days of filming over every continent on the planet. And joining me right now is director-producer Sophie Lanfear and also cinematographer Jim McPherson. Hey guys!
Hi Jeff.
Hi Jeff.
I have to admit, guys, when I first heard of this series, I thought to myself, okay, here's another nature series. We've seen it all before. I mean, what could be done that hasn't already been done? And I have to say, within 15 minutes of watching the first episode, my jaw was scraping the floor. I could not believe some of the incredible cinematography, some of the shots you got of wildlife that we have never seen before. And I can say that because I've seen all of these before. I mean, it was just a truly remarkable accomplishment.
Oh,
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It's down to a lot of it's down to Jamie. A lot of his. No, thank you, and the natural world, of course.
Now, with the short time I have with you today, we have 8 episodes, 8 hours of programming to discuss. So I guess I'll just have to pick and choose some of my favorite things in the series. I've only watched 4 episodes of the 8 episodes because I like to savor it. But so far, my favorite has been the natural frontier up in the Arctic. And it's shocking to see that a lot of the Arctic is melting and not coming back after each summer. It's not refreezing, I guess. And it's affecting the wildlife considerably. One of the most shocking segments was to see 100,000 walruses, literally 100,000 walruses who normally stay on the ice floe and hunt and live their lives out there are on the beaches now, crowded, and some falling to their death and some trying to get back up to the ocean and crushing some of the pups and everything. It's just really a heartbreaking scene.
Yeah. Even seeing it, it's hard to comprehend. I mean, you can't.
Yeah, it's that story. I mean, it took 2.5 years of planning to go there to Russia to film that story, and working with a fantastic biologist, Anatoly Kochnev, and he's been studying them for 35 years. Yeah. And I think it really ties the film up well because, like you say, it gets across how quickly things are changing in the Arctic and how quickly sea ice is being lost in the Arctic. And I think it rounds the film off so that people come away from it really understanding the problems facing the planet. So it's a very important piece.
Another favorite part of mine in the Arctic episode is when I was a little boy, I saw a Disney adventure film called The Island at the Top of the World. And they showed stock footage of the narwhal whale, which has the giant tusk that comes out from the front of its face, maybe 10, 15 feet long. And that's where the unicorn supposedly got started, that legend. Not only do we see a pack of narwhals for this series, but we actually go underwater and see them. I mean, it was the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was an incredibly rare footage, like you say. I mean, amazing that you know what they are and you've seen them, but I'm guessing a lot of people might not have. But when we were out camping out on the sea ice in very challenging conditions, and that was one of those cases where it was 3-week shoot and it came down to 4 hours.
That's 4 hours, yeah.
And
to see them, it's amazing. I mean, you're just right there next to them. It's just, they are like mythical creatures.
They're amazing. Their tusks are just, and they still don't know what the tusks are for.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Moving on to another episode concerning the rainforests and our jungles. My whole life I've heard about saving the rainforests, but it's just getting worse. It really is. And some of the numbers from this series, 99% of the Philippine forests are gone. The forests in Borneo, the Amazon, they're all vanishing quickly. And for one main reason, I knew right away when I saw the footage of palm kernel oil, this food additive that they're growing all over the world, and deforestation just so they can grow this oil that's in demand everywhere. And when you show that overhead shot of those plants, I knew exactly today's cause of deforestation.
Yeah, I think you learn about it at school and then you sort of forget it's still going on. It's still happening at the same rate. And
I think it was really important for us to show that a lot of these wildlife series, they put the conservation message across with words and commentary, but they don't show the kind of impacts that people are having. And I love the shot at the end of that film that kind of reveals, you've got into the kind of Philippines eagle and the orangutan, and you're kind of embedded in those stories, and then you pull out to show the deforestation, the impact. And there are lovely words, we lose this at our peril. these are places, the kind of rainforests are full of everything, like medicines that we could use. You know, they give us the oxygen that we breathe, and they're really important habitats to protect. And hopefully those images at the end of that show, I think, tell that story really well.
And the episode on the coral reefs, and I've known the coral reefs have been slowly dying for the past few decades, but I had no idea in this episode how fast these coral reefs are dying because of the warming of the ocean. Just 1 or 2 degrees will destroy the coral. Not only that, the kelp forests underneath, and these kelp forests take in so much of our carbon dioxide, they're vanishing. It's really a gloom and doom kind of story.
Yeah, it affects everything. All the systems on the Earth are being affected, and it's not too late. We need to open people's eyes to it and let them understand how and why it's happening and how we can change it.
There's such a balance in this show because one moment we're amazed at the natural wonders and the habitat and the wildlife on our planet, and the next minute you're preaching doom and gloom, how things are rapidly changing so quickly that we're going to lose everything. So there's that really strange balance in this show.
Yeah, well, that was the thing that most of this, we work on these big series, and you want people not to just pretend it's all okay. It's not okay. It's amazing, and there's a lot to save and a good reason to save it. But we didn't want to just sort of make people think it's all okay. But
I think there's that blend. What I love about the series is there's that total blend of emotions. You know, you've got the really uplifting, positive stories like whales making a comeback after the ban on commercial whaling. Humpback whales are doing really well, and that's a really nice message for people. You know, it's like we can. If we do something, we stand up against these things, we can incite change. And I think, you know, being on Netflix and having what we're really excited about is having that global audience together at once. You know, never in the history of natural history filmmaking have we been able to have a global story go global, at the same time uniting the whole planet. And that feels like it's, you know, of this time, it's important, it's now. And I hope people watch it.
Yeah.
Of course, it wouldn't be a nature series without the great Sir David Attenborough narrating the series. And I've always wondered, does David do anything else besides just narrate these shows? Does he have any other involvement?
These days, he is just the voice, really. But he's been, you know, his reputation. He's 92, and he has the best track record and ambassador for the natural world, and he cares so passionately about this series and about the conservation messaging in this series. And, you know, he's just blown away by it.
So knowledgeable and so involved, and he's an amazing guy.
Now, I've always wondered with a series like Our Planet, Sophie, being the producer and director, do you have special teams of cinematographers in mind to go out and shoot these incredible sequences? Anyone in particular?
This guy.
Hey, this guy. Yeah.
We do. We have, you know what we do, they have to be expert cinematographers. You know, there's so many skills that go into a wildlife photographer. They have to be amazing at what they do and the cinematography and the eye for it, but also it's the field skills that people don't think about. They're phenomenally amazing at predicting what an animal's going to do and how to film it before it happens. And like you say, we can't repeat the thing. We can't ask the animal to do it again. It's not like acting. So it's remarkable. I mean, the reactions of cameramen to what an animal's doing as it unfolds is, it's
like you say, you might have 6 weeks, and the key behaviour you need to capture happens over 2 minutes. So you've got to be paying attention and make sure you nail it when it does happen, and then bring those stories home.
Now, what's really unique about this series is after each episode, there's a call to action. There's a specific way to get people watching to get involved, to help preserve our planet, to preserve the habitat, to make change. And I know the series is involved with the World Wildlife Fund, but what other calls to action can viewers do after watching this series?
Well, I'd recommend that they go, there's a website accompanying it, www.ourplanet.com. And on there's a lot of things about solutions and problems and how we can do things. But some tangible things would be supporting renewable energies, so changing your electricity company to a greener electricity company, looking into your bank and what it invests in, so a sustainable, ethical bank is a great start. And then all the things that you can do about fossil fuels and reducing that. There's so much we can all do, and putting pressure on organisations and companies to be more green and to be more ethical about.
Yeah, it's not too late. People just need to be aware of it, really. How to make a change.
Sophie, Jamie, thank you for speaking to me today. The series is amazing. It's important. It's relevant. It's current. And it just shows that we're not alone on this planet, and we need to take care of it and do something to preserve it. And come out and visit us in Las Vegas when you have a chance.
I'd love to. Thanks, Jeff.
To. Thanks, Jeff.
Instead I see, I think it's the while
Our Planet is now streaming on Netflix, and for more reviews and interviews, just surf on over to my website at vegasfilmcritic.com. I'm Jeffrey K. Howard in Las Vegas. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.